the deck box. Today we'll be doing a deck tech video. The first deck tech video here, but hopefully the first of many to come. Hopefully a lot of them will be taking place at the actual shop, where we'll be able to look at different people's decks and talk to different people about what kind of archetypes are working for them and what kind of decks are working for them. Without any further ado, let's take a look at my really typical white Weenie deck with Gideon's Avengers, Lawkeepers, and Jura himself. Alright, so let's take a look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to basically show you the different portions, right? The different groupings of my deck. The first and most important portion of this deck I will show you is actually the Gideon portion. So right here I have two Gideon Juras. I felt like two was enough, considering they're kind of pricey. And two lets me pull it almost every game, somewhere in the game, right? Whether it's at the beginning, doesn't need to be at the beginning, right? Or a little bit further in. Typically, it's kind of nice to have two because chances are I'll get him around 5th or 6th turn. That's my thought, when I can actually play him. And then next to him, I have his best buddy, the Gideon's Avenger. Very, very useful with Gideon Jura. I have a full playset of 4 of those. And then next to him, I have the Gideon's Lawkeeper. Again, his second best friend. Okay? So, if you are familiar at all with how Gideon works, those 3 cards work perfectly together. Gideon's effects allow for a +1 effect of during target opponent's next turn, creatures that player controls attack Gideon Jura if able. So, if you think about that with Gideon's Avenger, who gets a +1/+1 counter every time a creature is tapped, he can pretty much commit suicide if the other creature or the other player has a lot of creatures, and give Gideon's Avenger many +1/+1 counters. Secondly, Gideon's Lawkeeper allows you to play 1 white mana and tap target creature. So you use Gideon's Lawkeeper to tap an opponent, gives Avenger a +1/+1 counter, and also lets Gideon Jura -2 ability destroy target tapped creature if there's anything really problematic. So there's that, and that's the main part of this deck. Those 3 cards are the base of this deck. And then from there, it goes into some other things. Basically, this is supposed to be a human deck. Almost every creature I have is human. So then you have Mentor the Meek, pay 1 mana, and I get to draw a card if the creature that came in is 2 or less. He's a human as well, just so you know. And then most of the cards in this deck are also less than power of 2 when they come in. On top of that, I have Champion of the Parish. And this is a card I wish I had a playset of 4 of, but I don't. And then Grand Abolisher. So, just so you know, not everything is ideal, obviously. I am a player on a budget. I'm not on the, the teams. Anyways, this is Mikaeus the Lunarch. I have 2 of him in here. He's a legendary creature. He's the leader of the church in Innistrad. And what he does is he lets you tap for a +1/+1 counter on himself, and then tap and take them off and give them to everybody else. So I see him as sort of like a mini planeswalker. And then I have Angelic Overseer, one of the only creatures in this deck that isn't human, but she has flying, and as long as you do control a human, she lets you, or she becomes hexproof and indestructible. Pretty great card for 5 mana. Very, very decent card. Very hard to deal with if I have humans, which I always do. And then, so that's kind of the main part with the creatures, and then on the right top corner I've got my enchantments. I've got Honor of the Pure. I'm running 2 of those. There might be more in the future. Then I have Spirit Mantles to make things indestructible. Well, not indestructible, but protection from creatures and +1/+1. Pretty decent. And then I have the enchantment that tops all enchantments in my books. And that's Angelic Destiny. +4/+4, has first strike and flying, and becomes an angel. And then if the creature that this is on dies, it goes back to your hand. I'm running 2 of those, and I could run more of them, but it just feels overpowered. So I'll just run 2. So there's that. On the right hand side, I have some stuff that I'm probably getting rid of pretty soon. This was more heavy with artifacts before, but they're actually kind of starting to, I'm trying to get rid of them over time. This deck kind of relied on them to begin with, and now it doesn't rely on them as much. So I have one Pure Steel Paladin that comes in handy every 5th game or so, and then a couple artifacts just to help me out. These two are quite useful. Swiftwood Boots and Mask of Avicion, or I'm not sure how to say that. I think that might be right. They both give you hexproof. So I found that some of my big creatures were getting zapped by, you know, Doom Blades and things like that, just removal spells. So these basically help you out completely. Sharpened Pitchfork, just because I'm running humans and it's kind of got a nice flavor to it. Amps humans as well. And Sword of Feast and Famine, which I think I will leave in even if I take all the other artifacts out. I'll just leave this by itself because it's so good. So there's that. That's the artifact portion. And then the next really important part of this deck, which is just I found completely necessary for this deck, is my removal, which I've got down this left side here. First is a full 4 playset of Oblivion Rings. Perfect card. Cost 3. Target non-land permanent goes into the exile zone. Right? Amazing card. Amazing enchantment. And then secondly, Bounds of Faith. For creatures that are out there, it basically gives me an option between giving a human that I control +2/+2, or making a non-human not be able to attack or block. Beautiful card, especially for this deck. Gives me nice choices. If there's nothing out there, I can use it to amp my own creatures. If there is, I can, you know, hold it down. So that's really great. And then my last removal that I have is 2 Fiend Hunters. When they come out, they exile another target creature. And then if he's killed, the creature comes back. But that doesn't usually happen because I just don't let Fiend Hunter die. You know, put a Spirit Mantle on him, give him some hexproof, I don't know. Whatever you need to do, 2 of those in there, helps out. So overall I have 8 removal, which really helps out. Just a quick talk about my lands. I'm running 20 lands, 17 of them being plains, 2 of them being ghost quarters, just because of all the Kessig Wolfrun going on, and also the Gavany Township is really problematic. And then I have 1 buried ruin. Just by the odd chance I need to get some artifacts back, which next to never happens, so this might be going out as well. But yeah, that's a quick look at my white weenie deck. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got some ideas from it maybe, if you run your own mono white deck, or if you're thinking about running one. This is a great start. It's by no means finished. I don't just buy all the cards I need and fix it up perfectly. It's kind of a mix of what I have and a couple cards that I felt like I needed to buy for it. Definitely not finished, but it's a great start. So thanks a lot for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you tune in next time in the deck box. So go ahead and roll for choice.